Well, hey guys, I know I didn't announce I was going live. I don't even know if anyone's gonna show up right now, but I wanted to go live because I have something that is just like I need to rant. I need to fucking rant. I need to rant. I need to rant. I need to rant. I am so fucking sick of these people. I am so fucking sick of these people. I am so sick of it is absolutely disgusting when when you're able to identify when influencers are playing the game. It's disgusting to me. I find the whole thing to be just like incredibly dirty and slimy and smarmy and just like stomach churning to me how disgusting it is when I can recognize when these people are playing the game. Let me show you what just happened, and literally I was so pissed off by this. I like had to go live, and I just need to rant about it. And this probably isn't going to be a very long stream. So I was on Twitter and Angel Eyes here. Shout out Angel Eyes. Angel Eyes tagged me in a tweet with one of my videos where I was it was a video from Socialism Saturday where I was talking about how Marxists want to make education, healthcare, housing, and food free for everyone, and we all know what that means. You can find that on my Substack if you want to. I'll just put the link in the ticker so you can see. So I'm not going to go through that video again. But she tagged me in it and she said, "Too late, bro. They've captured every board position, school, library, government. The only thing now left to do now is learn how to speak socialist." So shout out Angel Eyes. That's exactly right. So I saw that, and then I was like, who is she replying to? Oh, it's James Lindsay. James Lindsay is retweeting out a commentary, an illustrious commentary from Abigail Shrier, and we know that Abigail Shrier wrote the seminal work Irreversible Irreversible Damage, darling, and so she absolutely knows everything, and even though it's blatantly obvious that she doesn't actually listen to the left at all, but let's just set that aside for a second. James Lindsay retweeted this and said, "This, in commentary by Abigail Shriver, positively nails it. Take note. Marxism boils down to hate-filled envy. The parents of Marxism are envy and sloth. Its children, aside from destruction, are fear and desperation, which reliably births fascism next." First of all, James Lindsay has lost his fucking mind. I say that with the utmost respect. Because I really do respect James Lindsay quite a bit. But, and I empathize with this material has driven James Lindsay insane. I understand it. The watching all of the socialist training videos and the woke training videos has driven me insane. I'm not saying I'm judging him. I'm just stating reality that he's fucking lost it. And he's been going on and on and on and on about mysticism for like days and how mysticism is heretical and ridiculous and like all this stuff. And it's like, bro, can you listen? I don't care if you're an atheist. I really fucking don't. But if you're an atheist, can you please step the fuck back from talking to people about faith? Because you don't understand it. I'm sorry. I don't judge people who are atheists. I understand people who are atheists. There's every reason in the world to be an atheist because there is no empirical proof that God exists. I totally get it. I don't think bad of them. But don't talk about questions of faith when you yourself do not have faith. It is one of those things. It's like it is an abstract concept. You can't possibly understand it. Anyway, that's beside the point. That's not what we're ranting about. What I'm ranting about is the content of this article. Because I am sorry, I read about half of this. Abigail Shrier does not know what the F she's talking about. It's like conservative talking point, conservative talking point, conservative talking point, conservative talking point. I am so sick of these people believing that documents that were written 150 years ago by dead people are the end-all be-all of what the left believes today when they don't even listen to the left today. This is the type of bullshit I'm like, no one has an interest in what the actual truth is. It's like these two warring factions where the left knows absolutely nothing about the right knows absolutely nothing about the left. Both sides refuse to listen to each other, which actually does make sense because both sides are two sides of the same coin. The right and the left are exactly the same. Neither side realizes it because they don't fucking listen to each other. Anyway, I want to read this article and I want to rant about how how little Abigail Shrier understands about today's left. Now, if for some reason you've just stumbled upon me, I have watched thousands of hours of far left training, activists, classes, programs, book groups, all like everything that I can possibly watch and fit into like an 80+ hour work week about the far left, primary source documentation over the last 3 fucking years. I have watched thousands of hours of this stuff. There is no one on the planet that understands these people practically right now, what the boots on the ground are doing right now. There's no one on the planet that understands this better than me. I'm just gonna fucking say it because I am tired. I am tired of pretending that these commentators who spend all their time on goddamn Twitter and don't bother to listen to what the left says at all. I am so tired of pretending that the conservative talking points that come out of Twitter all day, every day, bear any resemblance to what we see when we actually watch the left in real life. Like, I'm done. I am done. I'm done. I ever pandered to these people anyway, really. But like, anyway, let me just read this and we will go over it. And of course, it's categorized under anti-Semitism. So I'm sure in this article there's going to be allusions to anyone that isn't a Zionist is an anti-Semite, darling. Because why wouldn't they do that? This is not a drill. The anti-Semitism epidemic. Here we go. Here we go. According to a popular meme, queers for Palestine is like chickens for KFC. To sign on to that slogan, you'd have to be suicidal or an idiot. That, at any rate, seems to be the prevailing view in circles I traveled in when it comes to the transgender activists who support Hamas. Now, pop quiz for the chat. Let's see if my audience, the impromptu audience that I have here without announcing this at all, let's see if my audience is smarter than Abigail Shrier. What does this, why would leftist activists be using the slogan queers for Palestine? Pop quiz for the chat. Why does it make perfect fucking sense that leftist activists, when you know how to speak socialist, would use and embrace the slogan queers for Palestine? Because it means socialists for Palestine. Give me more. Give me more answers. Why would queers be in favor of Palestine? What do Jews represent? What does Israel represent? Queer is political. It means Marxist for Palestine. Give me more specific. What do Jews and Israel represent to the far left? I know you guys know this. Come on. They use movements to gain power. Yes, they do. Keep going. What else? I know you guys know this. What do Jews mean at capitalism? Jews are capitalists. Jews are capitalists. Because they're capitalists, they're the colonizers. Means capitalism. Capitalism. It's also the oppressor versus the oppressed, but that has to do with capitalism. Israel is colonizers. That means using the oppressive force of capitalism to privatize the property. That's the land that they took away from Palestine in their minds. Jews represent capitalism. They see Jews as capitalists. Nope. Wrong, 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 wrong. I'm going to beat the fucking Western civilization comments right out of you guys. It is not about Western civilization at all, as you should be learning from people in the chat. Queer is to go against the normal to get rid of capitalism. Jews are capitalists. Palestinians are the oppressed. Being queer has nothing to do with gay or trans. It's about capitalism. Israel and therefore Jews represent capitalism and private property. They think Jews are colonizers, which means they're using the oppressive force of capitalism to privatize the property. That's what it means. That's what it means. Nah, bro, you're just too dumb to understand what you're listening to right now. That's what's going on. That's what this means. Why doesn't Abigail Shrier know this? Why isn't James Lindsay talking about this? Why is James Lindsay tweeting out this article saying this is what the fuck did he say? What the fuck did he say? This positively nails it. It does, James. Huh? It does? Why does my audience know that the Queers for Palestine slogan makes sense when you know how to speak socialist and you understand that socialists perceive Jews and Israel to be synonymous with capitalism, colonizers? Like, this isn't even hard, guys. This is fucking Socialist 101. Why does my audience, the impromptu audience that just showed up at the drop of a hat, know what this means when the big-time influencers Abigail Shrier and James Lindsay have apparently no fucking idea? Even though James Lindsay does know, is the thing. He does know. I don't know why he doesn't explain this to his audience, but he absolutely effing knows. Anyway, first two sentences. The climate activists, the feminist activists, gays for Gaza, the sad sack members of Jewish Voice for Peace. Each of them strikes us as dupes of a regime that would be happily jailed, repress, and repress, and massacre them. No. That's not what that means. Can they really be that self-defeating? Abigail, can you be so stupid that you have studied the left for God knows how long and you don't know what the slogan Queers for Palestine means and why they're using it? It has nothing to do with them wanting to move to the fucking Middle East. It has to do with the revolution. The Palestinians are engaging in a revolution. This is the moment that socialists have been waiting for their entire fucking lives. No, they don't. Wrong. You've already gotten two wrong answers, bro. Maybe it's time to shut your mouth and to open your ears and to sit back and listen to people who know better. You've gotten two wrong answers. We've only been live for 13 minutes. We'll teach you, bro, but you got to actually listen, you know? Can they really be that gullible and dumb? They're not gullible and dumb. You just don't understand the language they're speaking. And if they're really this gullible and dumb, if the college students that are protesting in favor of Hamas right now are really that gullible and dumb, then why are they winning? Then why can't the right actually defeat them? Then why are they kicking the right's ass so badly again? They're so dumb. These kids are so dumb that they literally got Jewish millionaires, billionaires, to fund the program in their universities that taught them all this bullshit. Oh yeah, they're real dumb. They're real dumb. They took over every institution in the country because they're so fucking dumb. Well, at the poker table of today's leftism, if you don't know who the fool is, more than likely the fool is you. That's the ironclad law of conservative projection there, Abigail. Consider Black Lives Matter Chicago. Chicago, one of the most socialist cities in the United States, which announced its support for Hamas in the days after the massacre with a gleeful post on Twitter featuring a Palestinian flag and a silhouette of a paraglider, presumably on his way to women and butcher children, as Palestinian paragliders had just done. I stand with Palestine, the poster reads. Does BLM and organizations whose aim is to bring justice, healing, and freedom to Black people across the globe not know how Ethiopian Jews would be treated if they dared visit Gaza? There's so fucking much here. Why did Black Lives Matter Chicago? Bro, if you don't shut your mouth and listen, I'm just going to block you from the chat entirely. There's no purpose of you being here if you're just going to confuse people with bullshit. Why would Black Lives Matter Chicago celebrate the commencement of what they consider to be a revolution? Because they have been jonesing for the revolution their entire fucking lives. Of course they're going to celebrate it, and it has nothing. And by the way, they believe they're bringing justice and healing and freedom because what they believe is happening is Palestine is decolonizing from the evil capitalist oppressors which are represented by the Jews and Israel. They believe that the left believes, and we have them on video overtly saying this, exactly, they're fucking radical, revolutionary socialists that are witnessing a revolution against the evil capitalist, which is the Jews and Israel in their minds. I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm saying this is what they think. They're witnessing a revolution in their lifetime against the evil fucking capitalists represented by the Jews and Israel. This is like, these people believe that we cannot be free under capitalism. Why doesn't Abigail Shrier know that far left radical revolutionary socialists do not believe that people are ever free under the oppressive force of capitalism? So yes, again, when you know how to speak socialist, this makes perfect sense. Not when you're playing dumb fucking conservative. I just don't understand why they would do this. Let's point out the hypocrisy for an entire article and pretend that pointing out the hypocrisy has ever solved any problem. Jesus fucking Christ, these people are stupid. Yo, Douglas Murray can suck a dick. You know, I know he'd like that too much. I don't actually mean that as a positive thing. Douglas Murray, like, is dead to me. I will never listen to that asshole again after what he's been like for the past almost 2 months. Absolutely not. Summarily, an associate professor at the University of California, Santa Barbara, called Israel a white supremacist Zionist project. What does this mean? Pop quiz for my chat. Who's smarter than Abigail Shrier? What does white supremacist Zionist project mean? Why would a professor at the University of California, Santa Barbara, call Israel a white supremacist Zionist project? What does that mean? A capitalist Zionist project. A capitalist project. A capitalist project. Capitalist project. Whiteness means capitalism. Whiteness means capitalism because the left, the far left radical revolutionary socialists, believe that capitalism caused slavery and slavery caused systemic racism, and therefore capitalism is the basis of systemic racism, which means the only way that you can get rid of systemic racism is to get rid of capitalism. That's why whiteness, the term whiteness, white supremacy, anti-racist, anti-racism, all of those terms are different derivations of capitalist or anti-capitalist, depending on whether or not you use whiteness or anti-racist, you know? Because they believe that whiteness created slavery. That's what that means. It's not about skin color, Abigail. Anyone who has ever visited Israel knows this to be absurd on its face. The 100,000 plus Ethiopian Jews are far from white, a majority of Israel population, Well, this would be a case, Abigail, of what NPR and the Washington Post and the Los Angeles Times call multi-racial whiteness. Why do they call it multiracial whiteness? Because you do not have to have white skin in order to engage in whiteness. And if you don't believe me, you can refer to Cheryl Harris, the author of the paper Whiteness as Property, in the speech she gave at UCLA Law back in 2014 at the 20th what was it, the 20th celebration of her paper, where she explicitly said that you do not have to be white to engage in whiteness, because whiteness is not about your skin color. That doesn't come from me. That comes from Cheryl Harris in her speech at UCLA Law in 2014 that you can find on my fucking channel, or you can find it on their channel. Either way. So whiteness is not about skin color. Abigail Shrier doesn't know that. This foolishness extends beyond race. Oh, wow, Abigail. Wow. Wow, what a fucking revelation that this has nothing to do with race at all. Climate activists like Greta Thunberg took to Twitter to pledge support for Gaza in the days after the massacre, almost as if they didn't know that the unprovoked war launched by Hamas on October 7th and the thousands of rockets fired from Gaza into Israel will result in both increased carbon emissions and devastation of the local environment. Pop quiz for the chat. And anyone who was on Socialism Saturday this past week knows the answer to this, because they explicitly talked about it on the Socialism Saturday video. What does climate change have to do with the far left radical revolutionary socialists? What interest do radical revolutionary socialists have in climate change? Pop quiz. Let me see your answers. Because I want people to know this isn't coming from me. People in my chat know this stuff. Back and forwards. Because I have drilled it into them. Capitalism causes climate change, Abigail. Abigail Shrier literally knows less than Tweeter trash. Tweeter trash has permanent caps lock, Abigail. Tweeter trash has a cartoon icon. How is it that Tweeter trash knows this and you don't? They blame capitalism for climate change. They believe capitalism caused the climate crisis. Climate change is caused by capitalism. Capitalism caused climate change. If another pop quiz to the chat, if we, in the minds of the radical revolutionary socialists, if we abolish capitalism, what happens to both climate change and racism? If Greta Thunberg was able to abolish capitalism today, what happens to both climate change and racism? Anyone who watched Socialism Saturday this past week should know the answer to this. It goes away. Because far left radical revolutionary socialists believe that if you abolish capitalism, all the problems that they blame capitalism for will go away. They believe that climate change and racism will cease to exist if you abolish capitalism. It will magically disappear. They will get solved. Both will get solved. They go away. They go away. They go away. They will be erased from society. The earth will be saved if we just abolish capitalism. This is literally what these people believe. They believe they abolish it. It vanishes as by magic. I don't give a fuck, Cassandra. This is not the point. We do not spend time debunking them. Spending any time debunking the left at all is a waste of time and energy. If pointing out the hypocrisy and the wrongness of the left was all that was required to defeat them, you would have already fucking won. This is not what we're doing right now. Congratulations, you guys know more than Abigail Shrier. Let's keep going. Meanwhile, gender studies departments in the United States have sought to amplify the call from Palestinian feminists to join the struggle for Palestinian liberation. So, in a struggle between an Islamic police state, quite literally a patriarchy, whose terrorists are encouraged to "R" Israeli women on October 7th, blah, 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 a society where women enjoy full rights and serve in the military, blah, 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 blah. And at Columbia University, the queer non-binary student group held a movie night. It's free Palestine over here. Zionists aren't invited. Okay. Why would, pop quiz for the chat, why would gender studies departments that are run by radical revolutionary socialists, because every single idea that Abigail Shrier is talking about in this article come from radical revolutionary socialists, why would the gender studies departments in the United States call for amplify the feminist struggle to join the Palestinian struggle for liberation? Why would they encourage feminists to join the Palestinian struggle for liberation if you're a far left radical revolutionary socialist? And of course, Reagan is right here. Struggle means the perpetual revolution. They perceive Palestine to be in a revolution against capitalism, which they define as private property. They are in the revolution. Because the Palestinians are an oppressed people. Why else? What is the connection? Let me ask this a different way, because I think I didn't ask this a good way. What is the connection between what gender studies departments care about and the revolution? And I'm saying they perceive it that way. I'm not saying I perceive it that way. I'm saying they perceive it that way. What is the connection between the gender studies departments and the revolution against capitalism or decolonization that's happening in Gaza? They want to decolonize Gaza and Israel. What is the connection between what gender studies departments teach and capitalism? You guys know this. Come on. Abigail used one correct word, and that one correct word is patriarchy. But not correct in the way that she thinks. The gender binary. Yup. The gender binary to attack capitalism. Kind of close. Got all the right words. Flip it around. You got all the right words, though. Flip it around. They want to undo the gender. Well, not undo the gender binary. It's not about undo. You can't undo a binary. Try again. What created the gender binary, guys? Come on. You guys are better than this. What created the gender binary? What created the gender binary? They believe that they are undoing the patriarchy because ridding the land of capitalism will destabilize the gender binary. You want to know why gender studies departments are encouraging people to support Palestine? Because Palestine, they perceive, I don't agree with this, I'm saying what they believe, they perceive the Palestinians to be in a revolution against capitalism. That is what decolonization means. It is about removing the oppressive force of capitalism from the private property. So this is a revolution against capitalism. And they believe that when you attack capitalism, you will destabilize the gender binary. So it doesn't bother them that there is a severe gender binary in the Palestinian state, because they quite literally believe that the Palestinian state is being oppressed by capitalism. And they believe if you abolish capitalism, you will therefore abolish the fucking gender binary, which will abolish the patriarchy. Why is my chat smarter than Abigail Shrier? Seriously. Why is my chat smarter than Abigail Shrier? And once you abolish the gender binary, you get to the nuclear family as well, because the nuclear family upholds capitalism through social reproduction theory. Attack capitalism to attack. So this is something people get confused a lot. They believe that capitalism created the gender binary, not like it's a very specific line from capitalism to the gender binary to the nuclear family. Well done though, MB. I appreciate the super chats. Anyone who thinks that Palestinians are pro-feminist or pro-gay needs help. Well, Richard, I appreciate the $20. I really do appreciate the $20. This is not the point. This is not the point. I'm going to say this again. This is not the fucking point. You guys, every minute, and again, I appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate the money. But every single minute that you guys spend debunking these people as though pointing out all the ways that they're wrong is going to make any difference at all, that is not the point. If you think that this is what matters to them, then you don't understand them, bro. I appreciate the super chat, I do, but I'm going to be like, you're paying me to be honest with you. If this is what you think matters to the left, if this is what Abigail Shrier thinks matters to the left, this is what James Lindsay thinks fucking matters to the left, you guys don't fucking understand them. This does not matter. Bro, I have told you 4 or 5 times now that you need to shut your mouth and listen. If you aren't going to shut your mouth and listen, you're going to get banned. This is your last warning. They absolutely will participate in the socialism they create. A lot of them live it right now, bro. A lot of them live in collectives right now. Currently. In real life. They're living in it right now. So why wouldn't they live in it when they actually get their way? This is just stupid. This, again, you don't understand the left, bro. Probably because your influencers have lied to you, because your influencers don't fucking understand the left either. Yes. How do they define capitalism? Pop quiz for the chat. The left is the radical revolutionary socialists that are driving all the crazy shit in the world are vehemently anti-capitalism. Yes. What does capitalism mean to them? How does the left define capitalism? And another pop quiz for the chat. Let's educate Steve here. How does the nuclear family uphold capitalism? I don't want people to hear it from me anymore. I want people to hear it from people in the chat. How does the nuclear family uphold capitalism? Okay, for our first question, what does the left mean when they say capitalism? They mean private property, private property. Capitalism means private property. Private property, private property, private property. Private property, private property, private property. Capitalism is the ownership of private property. Owners of property. Capitalism is private property. This is what the left believes. Now let's move on to the second question. Where is it? Hang on. I'm just confused about the nuclear family existed long before capitalism ever existed. This is a conservative talking point. I just don't know how they could possibly believe that the nuclear family is related to capitalism, because the nuclear family existed before capitalism. How does the left believe that the nuclear family relates to capitalism? Let's see, I got to find where people started answering it. The nuclear family produces the workers that uphold capitalism. The nuclear family creates and raises the little capitalists. They do believe the children are private property of their parents. The nuclear family keeps women down. That's the patriarchy, because it helps. Well, this is the gender binary bot. Capitalism created the gender binary. The gender binary put women in the home. It put men in the workforce. Women were doing the unpaid labor of raising the next generation of capitalist workers, proletariat workers that are going to be oppressed under capitalism. And therefore, the nuclear family upholds capitalism through social reproduction theory. The nuclear family creates new workers through creating children. Children are private property, kids are private property. Nuclear family raises kids in a capitalist context. So the nuclear family teaches kids to uphold capitalism by raising them in that context. You don't get rid of capitalism without getting rid of the nuclear family that's perpetuating it. The nuclear family upholds capitalism because producing your own children is reproductive labor, and those children are what? Those children are the future proletariat workers. The nuclear family creates the next generation of proletariat workers. The nuclear family provides workers for capitalists because the nuclear family reproduces workers and feeds the system. They think that the nuclear family was created. This is excellent, Reagan. They believe that the nuclear family was created by capitalism because capitalism created the gender binary. The gender binary put women in the home. The women do the unpaid labor in the home of raising the worker within the nuclear family. Thanks for the info. I have much to think about. Well, yeah. I really do appreciate the super chats, Richard. I'm not trying to be a bitch or anything, but so far as I see it, you pay me to tell you the truth. And I'll tell you the truth that no one else is telling you. And you're hearing it from all the people in the chat right now, too. So this isn't coming from me. This is This is coming from all the people who watch all the socialist trainings with me all the time. All right, let's keep going. You guys are so much smarter than Abigail Shrier. It's ridiculous. Why are the BLM supporters oh, this is a great question. This is a great question. Now we're getting into the meat of it. Why are the BLM supporters climate extremists, academic feminists, and trans activists? She means queer activists. Abigail Shrier. The greatest of ironies in this entire thing is that Abigail Shrier doesn't know the difference between trans and queer. Abigail Shrier, who quite literally wrote the book about rapid onset gender dysphoria, does not know the difference between trans and queer. Pop quiz for my chat, who are all smarter than Abigail Shrier. Do you need to be queer or excuse me, let me strike that, reverse it. Do you need to be trans in order to be queer? Follow-up question. What does queer mean? And how is queer different than trans? How is queer different than trans? Queer is a far left political ideology. You do not have to be trans to be queer. You do not have to be trans to be queer. No, no, no. Queer is a political ideology. Well, Gloria, she's had enough time to figure it out and learn and update, wouldn't you say? Because the presentations that we watch from socialists where they're talking about how trans means to transcend gender or transform gender, they've been out for years. Abigail Shrier has had plenty of time to keep up with the times. Abigail Shrier could have availed herself of all the streams that we've watched of these people. Some of these trainings have been out since Abigail Shrier wrote her book. She's had plenty of time to watch them. Why hasn't she? Trans upholds the gender binary. Queer means opposing the gender binary. Trans upholds the gender binary. Queer is a far left political ideology. You do not need to be trans to be queer. Queer is to go against the normal. Queer is political. Anyone can be queer. You just need to be a socialist to be queer. You can be a straight, white, cis man and still identify as queer because queer is a far left political ideology. Queer means Marxist. Queer means going against capitalism. Queer is a political ideology that is designed to destabilize the system. Not all queer is no, that's not true. We're not showing that. That's not correct. Sorry. There are people who identify as queer who don't understand this, but queer activists, when we're talking about activists, because remember, this is what we're talking about right now, trans activists. There are normal trans people who are not trans activists, right? For in the same token, there are people who identify as queer that are not queer activists. they're wrong to identify as queer because they've been fooled by the language, but queer activists absolutely know it's a political position. There's not a single conservative queer activist. I'm going to tell you that right now. Queer is political. Not the same. Transsexual. Well, I don't agree with that, Brooklyn. We'll have that chat later. I don't agree with that analogy. Queer is a political ideology focusing on destroying the gender binary. Trans is just transition between a man and a woman. Exactly. Nope, this is not correct. Not correct at all. Well, it'll be a shame when I quit when I quit at the beginning of the year, won't it then? Because when I quit, because I've had it, but I'm doing this for the next month just to see how it goes. And part of the reason I fucking had it is things like this. When I quit at the beginning of the year and I stopped doing this shit publicly because I'm making no progress and it doesn't really matter because people like Abigail Shrier are fucking undoing every single thing that I do as soon as I do it, teaching people wrong information that they will never fucking unlearn because she can't do her fucking job and do her due diligence to find out what she's actually talking about before she writes an article. When I quit teaching this shit publicly at the beginning of the year, you guys are only going to have Abigail Shrier to learn from. Congratulations. Or people like her. Why are those who champion women's reproductive rights so quickly to align themselves with a Hamas-controlled Gaza where women lack the right to drive and let alone abortion? Because, Abigail, they believe that when they win their revolution to decolonize Palestine, that problem's going to be solved because they believe the colonization of Palestine is what created the problem in the fucking first place. Why would they rally to a society where men are encouraged to hit a stray, uppity wife? Because they believe that problem will be solved once Palestine is decolonized. For that matter, why would so many LGBTQ groups side against a society that hosts the largest pride festival worldwide so they can go and throw in with another that puts homosexuals to death? Because they care more about abolishing capitalism than they do about going to a fucking rave. I just don't know why this is so hard. The number one priority that these people have, that the radical revolutionary socialists that Abigail Shrier is talking about, and by the way, there's no evidence that Abigail Shrier even understands that she's talking about far left radical revolutionary socialists, but that's what she's talking about. We know that because we watch these people and we track these people. She doesn't know that because she doesn't do her own fucking due diligence. But what did James Lindsay say? This positively nails it. Does it, James? Does it? Oh, here we go. Conservative thinkers James Lindsay and Christopher Rufo have painstakingly traced the Marxist roots of all these groups. Have they? Have they? Showing that they're all branches from the same rotten revolutionary trunk. Here's where I'm really going to start yelling. Are you guys ready for me to start yelling? Because James Lindsay and Christopher Rufo are the ones that are tracing the Marxist groups, guys. Remember, there are no other people in the world who are talking about the real fucking Marxist groups, not the philosophy, not the fucking academic papers, but the actual fucking groups. The actual organizers, the actual fucking activists. These groups aim to overthrow the West. Fuck you. You're telling me that between Abigail Shrier, James Lindsay, and Christopher Rufo, the conclusion that these three fucking luminaries have come to is that radical revolutionary Marxist groups want to overthrow Western values. Pop quiz for the chat. Because my chat's about to prove that they're smarter than the eminent activists on the conservative right. What is the goal of the radical revolutionary Marxist groups that are doing the protests in favor of Hamas that Abigail Shrier doesn't fucking understand? What is it the goal of the radical revolutionary Marxist groups to overthrow Western values? Or are they trying to overthrow something else? Well, you guys are answering that. Thank you, Jen, for being a member of the channel for 5 months. Abigail is not that stupid to believe that colonization, aka capitalism, created abortion. She is good grief. Well, Jen, as I have explained to you numerous times, and I appreciate you being a member of the channel, I do, but as I have explained, you pay me to tell you the truth. As I've explained to you numerous times, this is not about reality. This is about what leftists believe. If you do not understand what leftists believe, you will never be able to defeat them. And Jen, you've been around long enough to know that leftists absolutely believe that abortion attacks capitalism by attacking the gender binary because abortion liberates women from the gender binary, which is an attack on capitalism. Now, back to the question at hand. Is it the goal of radical revolutionary Marxist groups to overthrow the West? Or are they trying to overthrow something else? Let's see what the chat has to say. They're trying to overthrow capitalism. They want to get rid of capitalism. They want to overthrow capitalism. They want to abolish private property, which private property means capitalism. Capitalism is defined by private property ownership. They want to end capitalism. They want to overthrow capitalism. They want to overthrow capitalism. They do not want to overthrow Western values. They want to overthrow capitalism, which they define as private property. Capitalism to radical revolutionary Marxists. And I don't know why Abigail Shrier doesn't know this, because when you're using the term Marxist, the very first book you're going to come up with is the Communist Manifesto. And at the very beginning of the fucking Communist Manifesto, they talk about abolishing fucking private property. All right, I'm back. I'm going to beat the fucking conservative talking points out of you guys with a stick, and I'm either going to drive you away from the channel or you're going to fucking let go of your fucking conservative talking points. This is not true. There are, like, anyone who is stupid enough to believe that only people in the West engage in capitalism have never been to a fucking Asian nail salon. Their goal is to destabilize the system, destroy capitalism, usher in their Marxist utopia. Wrong, Brooklyn. Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong. I'm gonna, again, Brooklyn, I love you. I do. I love you dearly, girl. I'm gonna beat this fucking conservative talking point out of you with a fucking stick. Because if I'm not gonna be teaching this shit anymore after the next month, because I've had it with all this bullshit, I'm going to goddamn make sure that people have had every opportunity to learn, because once I quit, you guys are going to be left with this. They only care about capitalism. They want to overthrow capitalism. No, they're not, John. No, they're not. They do not. Guys, I don't know how to fucking explain this to you any differently than I am. These people do not understand that they do not understand this is about capitalism. They do not mean capitalism when they say Western values. That is not what they mean at all. You don't believe me? Go and fucking ask them. Capitalism is going to be nowhere in their answer at all. So, no, incorrect. Their goal is to make people believe capitalism is to blame, so they'll give it to the socialist power to overthrow it. Close. They want to abolish capitalism and usher in Marxism. Thank you, Mark Robichaud. Good to see you. What would Adam say with you still cavorting in my chat, my friend? Rottweiler says, preach. I like Lindsay, but he seriously has a blind spot by focusing on academic irrelevancies normies don't understand, and that only serves to address specific arguments, not the activist side. None of these people understand the real fucking activists. They're writing whole fucking articles pretending to understand the real activists, and they have no fucking clue about these people at all. How is it possible that me and my are the only people on the fucking internet who are not socialist activists, who actually listen to socialist activists and watch what they do and actually discern what they mean by their fucking language? How is this possible? No, it's not, Brooklyn. And we know that because they will fight tooth and nail against the idea that capitalism is even involved. They have no fucking clue this means capitalism at all. They have no fucking clue that capitalism means private property. They have no fucking clue that whiteness means capitalism or why whiteness means capitalism. They have no fucking clue that equity means Marxism. They have no fucking clue that the left believes that capitalism created the gender binary. They have no fucking clue that the left believes that capitalism is upheld by the nuclear family and they must abolish the nuclear family to get rid of capitalism. They have no fucking clue the ultimate goal of these people is to get rid of private property. They have no fucking clue that these people believe that private property means your children and your individual rights. They have no fucking clue about any of this, and I'm tired of pretending that they fucking do to placate conservative, fragile fucking egos. The number one tenet of Marxism, and she literally used the fucking word Marxism, is to abolish private fucking property. It is not to abolish Western fucking values. Brooklyn, you keep arguing with me, and you're not going to be in my chat for very long. I swear to God. Jen says, I know the answer. It's just constantly seeing the wrong answer repeated gets on my nerves. I'm sure yours as well. Well, this is why I'm quitting, because I'm tired of fucking seeing the wrong fucking answer repeated. Jews in Israel represent capitalism. Colonizers, queer is about capitalism. Everything these people do is about capitalism. Everything they do is about capitalism. The queer part is about capitalism because they believe that capitalism created the gender binary, and queer Marxism is a direct attack on the gender binary. Queer is the antidote to the gender binary, which means it's the antidote to capitalism. I'm just getting to the bottom of the chat so we can continue. And the right wonders why they are losing if they still cling to the fucking fantasy that this is about Western civilization and Western values. It's because you know what it is, Rottweiler? They hate our freedom, Rottweiler. They hate our freedom. That's what it's all about. They just hate our freedom, okay? Jesus fucking Christ. This is correct. Smartest thing Mark Robichaud has said all night. No, they don't, Brooklyn. No, they don't. No, they don't. This is not true. They have Do I need to do the rant again? They have no fucking idea. Thank you for the money. I really do appreciate it. I love you, but they have no fucking idea. All right, let's continue. These groups aim to overthrow the West. No, they don't. So they can, and so they support one another. This is the first smart thing that Abigail Shrier has said in this entire fucking article. First smart thing. Yes, these groups support one another, Abigail, but I'm betting that you don't understand why. Why do they support each other? Because they are collectivists. Nests of critical theory fill their interchangeably empty heads. But I want to suggest a motivation less highbrow and more straightforward. They are all fed by the same polluted water source: hatred, envy, and resentment. Abigail Shrier is literally saying that the reason that the college students are supporting Hamas is they hate us. No, Abigail. They hate capitalism. They hate private property. They are collectivists. They are not individualists. This is not, in fact, oftentimes I actually find that socialists are actually happier when they're around other socialists, when, I've been undercover at their events, than conservatives are. Socialists are much happier at their events than conservatives are at CPAC. Rottweiler, thank you for the super chat. Question for the clueless cons. Where did Marx, Engels, Marcuse, Fieri, etc. speak about Western values? They have never fucking spoken about Western values. There are no videos of socialist activists talking about Western values. There are no books that socialist activists have written talking about Western values. There are no training courses that we have found that are given by radical revolutionary socialists that talk about Western values. The founding fucking fathers of critical theory did not talk about Western values. So why is the conservative right so fucking committed to losing that they insist on lying to their audiences year after year after year after year after year? This is just about Western values. They hate our freedom, guys. They hate our freedom. They hate that we have French fries and McDonald's and like all this. I swear to God, this is like the Iraq War fucking part 2. Dr. Carlin is smart. I appreciate that. She should be angry with the teachers. I am fucking angry with them. I am angry at every fucking conservative fucking influencer who gets paid by these politically biased organizations to lie to millions of fucking people. No one has to take my word for any of this. I'm not sitting here going, trust me, bro, pinky swear, I promise what I'm saying is the truth. Do you want to know why? Because we watched the primary source video. I have the clips on my YouTube channel. I have the full primary source videos on my YouTube channel. I have everything archived on my Substack. I have more clips on my Substack. I will show people what the real radical revolutionary socialists are saying. And then then immediately after I show people, here is what they're actually saying. It is contradicted by these fucking shill grifter fucking quote unquote activists, because they're not really activists. They're entertainers at best. The reason the right will always lose is because their influencers fucking lie to them. We need you. Please don't quit. What can we do to help you? I don't know anymore. Because here's the thing. One of the reasons that I am fucking done with all of this is that I can't compete with this. I can't compete with Abigail Shrier lying to people. I can't compete with Chris Rufo not understanding exactly what he's talking about and getting it fucking wrong and making it about skin color when it's not. I can't compete with fucking James Lindsay going, this article is so on point. It positively nails it. I can't compete with this shit. I can't do it. It doesn't matter how many socialist trainings I show you guys so you can see what they're really saying. It doesn't matter how many clips I make. It doesn't matter how many articles I write. It doesn't matter. I cannot get people to listen. I tried. I went undercover at their events. I recorded them. I showed you what they were saying. No one fucking listened. I tried. So at some point, you need to face facts that people don't want to know the truth. They don't want to know the truth. But I appreciate the super chat. Maybe things will change in the next month. We'll see. Do you know where capitalism works great? China, yippee, note the sarcasm in a Valley Girl accent. Thank you, Jen. I do appreciate it. All right. I would sooner shoot myself in the foot and starve myself during a cold winter where I don't have heat in my house because I can't afford it than go work for Tim Pool. Conservative influencers will lie and sell us out and flee before Marxism takes over. I think that that's pretty correct. Now let's hear about how they all just really, really hate our freedom. What leads them to show up at the pro-Hamas rallies in remarkable numbers is not ideological commitment. Oh, really? Sure, some may want the Marxist revolution if they understand what that is. Are you fucking kidding me? Abigail Shrier has come to the brilliant conclusion that radical revolutionary Marxists who have been indoctrinated into critical theory in school their entire lives from the time they were in elementary school, because this is how long this has been in the public schools. Abigail Shrier really believes that college students who have been indoctrinated into a far left political ideology in school their entire lives, starting in elementary school, doesn't understand what Marxism means. Abigail, that is the ironclad law of conservative grifter fucking projection. The reason that Abigail Shrier believes that the students who were literally raised in a far left ideology their entire lives, because that's who's protesting in favor of Hamas. Abigail Shrier believes they don't know what Marxism is. No, Abigail, you don't know what it is. You don't know what it is. The problem with Abigail Shrier is celebrity worship. Sure, she exposed one single issue, but other than that, she became the celebrity of the clueless right who thinks trans people are the problem. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But whatever beliefs they may hold about gender, race, climate quickly unravel under the clumsy weight of the obvious contradictions of supporting a regime so hostile to those causes. Abigail, as we have already covered, as my chat has already told you, so I won't do another pop quiz because they've already answered this question once. The radical revolutionary Marxist activists that are protesting in favor of Hamas believe that Palestine is decolonizing itself from the evil capitalist oppressors that are Israel and the Jews. Decolonization means to remove the oppressive force of capitalism. The same radical revolutionary Marxists who you claim don't understand Marxism believe that capitalism created the gender binary, capitalism created racism, capitalism created the climate crisis. They literally believe that capitalism created every single problem in our society. So, what you see as an ideological contradiction is nothing more than you not understanding the left that you claim to be an expert in. Because if Abigail Shrier knew how to speak fucking socialist the way that we know how to speak socialist, because we actually watched thousands of hours of this bullshit, she would understand exactly what I just explained. There is no contradiction because their fight is against capitalism. And they believe that the Palestinians are fighting against fucking capitalism because that's what decolonization fucking means. Which means they are no more motivated by ideology, in other words, than Adolf Hitler was when he allied himself with, I don't know how to pronounce that, another race allegedly inferior to why blah 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 blah. This literally has no relevance to the argument at all. The only reason Abigail Shrier is throwing this in there is to equate the college students to literally Hitler. Because Abigail Shrier is a Jew, and Abigail Shrier believes that everyone who is not a Zionist is an anti-Semite. And so what Abigail Shrier is doing with this paragraph is saying these students are literally Hitler. That's what she's saying. So don't bother informing gays for Gaza that same-sex attraction is prescribed by criminal law in Gaza. They don't care. Backed by a penalty of 10 years imprisonment in that very territory they're so wild about. No need to educate them about the findings of Pew Research that Palestinians' population opposes homosexuality is among the highest in the world. Blah, 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 blah. Abigail, they believe that removing capitalism will solve this fucking problem. Oh, Nathaniel, they changed their tune on that after October 7th. Conservatives are now completely fine with calling everyone they disagree with literally Hitler because Israel. Because we are all required in the land of conservatives to support Israel without fucking question. Hang on. Thank you, Miley. You guys are rocking the super chats tonight. I appreciate it. I feel like you're all engaging in rant energy with me right now, which I appreciate. Now you know why us libertarians point out that Republicans and conservatives are socialists too. Ask them to give up their public schools, socialist security, Medicare, and or public libraries and find out. Exactly. Conservatives are absolutely socialist. 100%. They already know, and they really truly don't care. No, Abigail, they don't care because their goal is to abolish fucking capitalism. You could plead with Greta Thunberg and her dead-eyed friends that Israel leads the world in desalination. There it is. There's the word. Desalination efforts and technology. You could suggest that any of the climate activists marching for Hamas, that if they really cared about the conversation, they might want to side with the blah, 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 blah. I'm not even going to read all this because this is Abigail Shrier basically going, don't you know leftists are hypocrites? They're hypocrites, guys. They're hypocrites. We can all just go home now. Guys, Abigail Shrier has pointed out again that leftists are hypocrites. Case closed. We can all go home now. We didn't know that. Oh my God. What a fucking revelation. And she spends an entire long paragraph pointing this out because she still does not understand the core problem, which is fucking capitalism. They aren't stupid. They aren't suicidal. Smartest thing she said in the essay yet. The left is not stupid, and the left are not fucking suicidal. There is no greater danger than underestimating your opponent. Yes. What is that? Lao Tzu? Yes. But here we are, the LGBTQ activists who aren't primarily motivated by gay rights, the climate radicals who aren't principally motivated by concern for the climate. And if there were ever a BLM member sincerely concerned about racial justice, no doubt he has long since left the organization behind. Its remaining rank and file are no more committed to their punitive causes than Hamas is to improving the lives of ordinary Palestinians. Oh my God. We have now reached the stunning conclusion where Abigail Shrier points out that the issues these people claim to care about are not the actual issue. Duh. Duh. See, I thought that was Sun Tzu as well. I didn't know why I said Lao Tzu. I was like, was there another one? Whatever. So because Abigail Shrier has now pointed out that the issues that they claim to care about are not the actual problems, I am sure, to wrap up this thrilling essay, I'm sure that Abigail Shrier is going to point out that it's not that they care about gay rights, it's not that they care about climate, it's not that they care about race. What they really care about is capitalism, right? Because obviously Abigail Shrier must have read the Communist Manifesto at some point, and if she's talking about radical revolutionary Marxists, which we know she is talking about radical revolutionary Marxists because she calls them Marxist right here. She calls them Marxists right here. So she must understand, because surely Abigail Shrier has read the Communist Manifesto. And surely she must understand that, like at the very beginning of the Communist Manifesto, they literally state that their goal is to abolish private property. Surely, to round out this thrilling essay, she's going to point out correctly that the radical revolutionary Marxists are not interested in gay rights or climate justice or racial justice. They're interested in capitalism and private property. Let's see. The postmodern left celebrated Leah Thomas. Oh no, we're going to have a whole other paragraph of hypocrisy. Okay, let's just roll with it. The mediocre male athlete who swapped genders his senior year in college and won the NCAA Female Swimmer of the Year, not because it wants to improve the lives of gay and transgender Americans. Had that been the goal, the left would have accepted a fair and sustainable solution, such as an open category, all gender identities, alongside a female-only team and safe transgender changing rooms. Okay, fine. No, they want to take over women's teams and restrooms for the same reason a vandal loves a clean white wall. They enjoy making women afraid. Well, pop quiz for the chat. What is the goal? Okay, let me ask it this way. We'll do a multiple choice. You're going to have a 50-50 shot. Abigail Shrier believes that radical revolutionary Marxists want to make women afraid. She believes that that is their goal. So, pop quiz for the chat. Is the goal of radical revolutionary Marxists to make women afraid? Or is the goal of radical revolutionary Marxists to abolish gender entirely? Which is it? Is it to make women afraid, or is it to abolish the gender binary? Nick says conservatives like being losers. I despise losers. Me too, Nick. Thank you. Daniel redeeming himself from earlier. They don't believe in women or men. They want to abolish the gender binary. The queer Marxists don't want women as a group. They don't want any gender at all. They call themselves non-binary for a reason, Abigail. The reason they call themselves non-binary is they don't want the gender binary to exist. They want to abolish all gender. The purpose is to destroy the gender binary to reach true gender equity, because you will never achieve gender equity until you abolish the gender binary, because the gender binary was created by capitalism. And by proxy, once they abolish the gender binary, they will by proxy abolish the nuclear family. They want to abolish gender entirely. They want to destroy capitalism by abolishing gender entirely. They want to abolish gender, abolish the gender binary, abolish gender, abolish gender, abolish gender. Number 2, yes, abolish gender entirely. They want babies. They want to abolish gender entirely. They want to abolish the gender binary, abolish the gender binary. They don't care about men or women. They want to abolish the gender binary. Half of the radical revolutionary Marxists are women. True. They want to abolish the gender binary entirely. Abolish it, abolish it. It's obviously to make women afraid of the gender binary, because their goal is to abolish the gender binary. Well done, guys. Well done. Well done. They enjoy deleting girls' names from the record books. Well, and boys' names too, actually, Abigail. They thrill at seeing average Americans squirm. They're afraid of our freedom, guys. When a DEI staffer named Naya Weber informs parents and children there's a killer cop sitting in every... Oh, this is a good one. When a DEI staffer named, now I don't know how to pronounce that, informs parents and children there is a killer cop sitting in every school where white children learn, that isn't a statement of values. You don't glue yourself to the Mona Lisa, as eco warriors have done, or vandalize the Wellington Arch in central London because you love the earth that much. Well, this one is because radical revolutionary Marxists want to abolish the police, Abigail. And they don't mean white children as in white skin color. They mean capitalist children, the beneficiaries of capitalism. That's what white privilege is. This is about capitalism. You do it because you despise the civilization that cradles such treasures. Because your desire to inflict pain on those you resent deeply overshadows any aim that you may espouse on behalf of Mother Earth. No, wrong, wrong, again. Same with the tearing down of a poster with an image of a child held in captivity. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. More stuff about feel sorry for us, we're Jewish. The great 20th century economist journalist Henry once noted that Marxism itself ultimately reduces to highly concentrated envy. Not exactly. The whole gospel of Karl Marx can be summed up in one single sentence: hate the man who is better off than you are. Well, this actually has truth. But why? Why? Why do Marxists, pop quiz for the chat, this is an abstract one, but this is going to be the ultimate test of if you guys are smarter than Abigail Shrier. Are you ready? Why would it be correct to say, okay, hang on, let me ask this in a different way. I'm going to consider the phrasing of the question. Why do radical revolutionary Marxists hate the man who is better off than they are? Why is that true? Because they want equity. What does equity mean? What does equity mean? Because they want equity, which is Marxism. What does that mean? Equity means sameness. Equity means equality of outcome. Equity means Marxism. They want everyone to have the same outcome because the bourgeois stands in the way of a socialist equity. The bourgeois means the capitalist class. Because it's about equity of the collective. Because the man who is better off is the oppressor. Why though, David? Why? Why? Keep going. They want everyone at the same outcome. They want equal outcomes. That's what equity is, Abigail. equity is the elimination of private property, which means capitalism, so that everyone has equal outcomes. They want equity. They want equal outcomes because when you have capitalism and some people have more than another person, that's not equitable. They want everyone to have the same outcome. They hate the man who is better off than they are because it shows that capitalism works. That's why they hate people who benefit from capitalism. Remember, guys, white privilege means beneficiary of capitalism. The elimination of the hierarchy and meritocracy, those are both caused by capitalism. Well, you can't have capitalism without meritocracy. And obviously, capitalism creates hierarchies, which are power structures, which is what they care about. Exactly. Universities may add intellectual, I don't know what that word is, to expression of hate, blah, 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 blah. So Abigail Shrier literally thinks, they just hate our freedom. She should say it with a southern accent like George W. Bush. They just hate our freedom. Blah-de, blah-de, blah. Then some more about how the Jews are oppressed. We're not going to read that. They are not the dupes of a hideous regime in opposition to their values, racial justice, reproductive rights, women's liberation, climate awareness. We are the dupes for believing they sincerely held those views in the first place. Yes, Abigail. Yes. You are a dupe for not doing your own fucking research, never listening to a word these people have to say, and believing that they held any of these values. You are a dupe indeed. So what did people think of that article? Wasn't this amazing? Remember, again, and I have a lot of respect for James Lindsay, but I have to critique his tweet a little bit because I don't think Abigail positively nailed it, but maybe you guys disagree. Let me know if you disagree with James Lindsay in the chat. She's talking about Western values again, never mentioned capitalism once. It's almost like Abigail Shrier has no idea what the left actually believes. And James said this was right on. He did. It was an expert work. It was trash. Progressives are not well. That's true enough. I feel dumber for reading this article. So do I. She was way off. Abigail knows nothing. Let's see. When it comes to regular progressives, yes, 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 yes. Whiteness and white supremacy is always about capitalism. It is never about race. Everything the progressives say, everything the Democratic Party says, not just the progressives, everything that the progressives and the Democratic Party say trickles down from the far left radical revolutionary socialists. It's the ideas originate with the far left radical revolutionary socialists. Then they trickle down through schooling, through colleges, through K through 12 education, through culture, through media, through trainings, through diversity training, through whatever, through books, through TV shows. The ideas trickle down so that, yes, when progressives and Democrats say this, they do not mean skin color. They mean capitalism. And if you don't believe me, then I want you to go on Twitter. Actually, let's just do it. Let's see. Whiteness, capitalism. Let's see. Oh, there's me. Whiteness is a socialist term for capitalism. That probably came from me. Let's see. This person actually knows. That's impressive. They've been listening to me. Whiteness is part of the superstructure from the base of capitalism. There you are, tweeter trash. Look at this. Guys, I mean, they literally wrote a book. They literally wrote a book. The title is What is Anti-Racism and Why It Means Capitalism? They literally wrote a fucking book about this. It's the title, man. It's the fucking title. Let's see. Abigail is ignorant. Again, this article is making up stories to explain things they don't understand, like rain is angels crying. Exactly. Thank you, Bob, for understanding my frustration. I've almost lost my voice now. I've been yelling so much. I feel dumber too, Sin. I feel dumber too. I want my time back too. I feel like I've been misled by James Lindsay. I thought I was reading a great piece of cultural commentary, and instead I was reading a fifth grade essay written by a conservative Christian. Even though Abigail's Jewish, but the reason I say conservative Christian is this just sounds like the type of thing a conservative Christian would write. So it's not like necessarily a knock on Christianity. It's a knock on that whole culture and their lack of understanding of what's going on in the world. Abigail is a one-trick pony. It's basically conservative and Zionist word salad. How depressing. How depressing. We have seen this time and time again. Every person who has been exposed to this study stuff in university knows what it means. Dr. K, I just did a word search to check how many times capitalism showed up in the article. 0. 0. The proof that whiteness is capitalism is how many people like Larry Elder and Vivek Ramaswamy can be supporters of whiteness. It's not even hard. Come on. Come on. Can I sue Abigail for mental anguish I've had to endure from this B's article she wrote? I mean, you can try, MB. I'm not going to, give legal advice on this channel. Anyway. Yes, Brooklyn, I believe they all know. Brooklyn, the only people who don't understand this are conservatives. I promise you. The only people who do not understand this are conservatives who are desperately clinging to the talking points that their influencers have fucking sold them. We listen to these people all the time, Brooklyn. We've listened to these people. Brooklyn, we listen to the progressives on Happy Hour. Happy Hour are not far left radical revolutionary socialists. The Happy Hour trainings that we have been listening to from the beginning of 2021. This is coming up on 3 years of doing Happy Hour almost every single week. Those are progressives. What is always mentioned in those trainings, Brooklyn? Capitalism. Every single time we have watched a diversity workplace training, they have talked about the evils of capitalism. Every single time we watched a college class, they've talked about the evils of capitalism. Every single time we have watched a podcast given by a progressive talking about this stuff, they are talking about the evils of capitalism. They know this. The only people who do not understand this are conservatives because their influencers have lied to them ad nauseum for years because their influencers never bothered to listen to the people that they were doing commentary on. All right. That's all I have to say. I have some stuff I need to do. It's 11 o'clock at night. But congratulations to everyone who, well, I'm sorry if I misinterpreted Brooklyn, but it kind of sounds like you're expressing your opinion. I apologize if I misinterpreted, but that's what it sounded like to me. I still love you. I do. I think you're awesome. But congratulations to everyone who proved tonight in my chat that they were smarter than Abigail Shrier. I want you all to give yourself a round of applause. This is why I say that people who attend my socialism streams are years ahead of everyone on the conservative right, literally years ahead. Now, it's too bad because I'm not going to be doing this for much longer. At least this is where it's out of my head right now. That's not entirely true. There's going to be what is going to happen, I think. The reality is, I don't want to quit because I know I'm one of the only I'm like the only fucking person on the internet teaching this shit. But I truly feel like I've been forced into a position where I can't fight this shit anymore. I can't fight this shit. I am exhausted. I am frustrated. I am angry. I can't get people to fucking listen. And people will say, you're ahead of your time. You're ahead of your time. Okay, fine. But I don't know what the answer is to this problem. I don't know what the answer is to this problem. I can't get people to listen. I'm sick of being shit on the internet. I'm sick of stupid ass conservative influencers fucking lying to people. But I don't know how to make this work. So if you don't know, there's no passing the baton. Who the fuck am I passing it to? There's no one else doing this, Sarah. So if you don't want me to quit, I don't know. Share my shit more. Get in the faces of these fucking conservative influencers who are fucking lying and tell them to stop fucking lying. There's nothing more I can do. There's nothing more. I've done what I can. If people don't step up, I am fucking done. All right. I gotta go do some work because this is what I do all night. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.